audible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I? Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Grace, ma'am, I will first welcome all the participants. Then you can start, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Is it okay? A very happy morning to one and all present here. It's an honor and a great pleasure for me to extend a hearty welcome to you all on behalf of the Department of Information Science and Engineering, BNM Institute of Technology, Bengaluru, for this 5 days AACTE Training and Learning Academy sponsored online faculty development program on big data and analytics. I am immensely pleased to welcome our Secretary, Sri Narayana R. Mane, Chairman, Governing Body, BNM Educational Institutions and Trust, Professor T.J. Ramamurthy Sir, Director of BNM IT, Dr. S.Y. Kulkarni, Additional Director of BNM IT, and Professor Ishwar N. Mane, Dean of BNM IT, and Dr. Krishnamurthy G.N., Principal of BNM IT, and all the heads of all the departments who have been the guiding force for all the activities. I'm happy to welcome our beloved HOD, Dr. Sashikala, who always been an inspiration to us. I extend my cordial welcome to Honorable Chairman of AACTE, all the heads of AACTE, Regional Officer of AACTE Southwestern Regional Office, Bengaluru, and thank you for approving this FDP to provide an excellent platform to exchange views, ideas of latest tools and technologies to improve faculty abilities in thirst areas. I bid a warm welcome to all the renowned speakers who took out their valuable time and joined us for these 5 days program for sharing their knowledge and experiences. I'm extremely happy in welcoming all the faculty members who are the participants of this program, joined from various institutions across the country. And I also extend hearty welcome to all my fellow faculty members, the organizing team, and non-teaching staffs. The objective of this FDP is all about knowledge transfer, exchange experiences, and to motivate the faculty members to acquire a sharp understanding on how big data can be applied to business sectors and how to enrich our knowledge through hands-on experience on latest tools and technologies. We all have a strong belief that knowledge sharing will improve the teaching learning process to the students and is also beneficial to the society. So finally, I would like to wish you all an enjoyable and productive program. I hope that all the participants will benefit from the outcomes of this FDP. So thank you one and all.
Excuse, ma'am, can I start the session?
Ma'am, 1 second, we will welcome you formally. 2 minutes.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It gives us an immense pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Gracie Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering from PIT Chennai. Madam has completed her BTech in Information Technology in 2005, ME in Computer Science and Engineering in 2009, and awarded with a PhD degree in Information and Communication Engineering from Anna University. Madam is a lifetime member of ISTE and IE and a reviewer of various reputed journals. Her areas of research includes ad hoc networks, IoT, blockchain technology, cyber security, wireless sensor networks, machine learning, and much more. Madam has published various reputed papers in the international and national journal. It is a privilege to have a madam with us for the day, and we will hand over the session to the madam. Madam, you can start with your presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for your warm welcome. Thank you all. So shall we start the session? So, okay, first of all, I just like to present my PPT. Is it possible for me to present? Am I present here?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You can present.
Okay. Is it my screen is
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Presentation is visible.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So very good morning to one and all present here, and it was a warm welcome. Thank you. So let me start the sessions. We are going to see something about big data analytics. Okay, before starting on the session, I would like to ask you a question. Is it possible for us to live in this pandemic world without any gadgets around us? Is it possible? Right now we are in a pandemic situation, right? So is it possible without any gadgets, without anything? Is it possible for us to live here? To engage or something? Anyone? Isn't it? Of course, the answer will be no. So we are just surrounded with various gadgets around us. We are just engaged totally in this pandemic situations. Everything we do, whatever we do, we learn, we study, we take online classes, learning material, we share, tweets, YouTubes, everything. So everything we done without, it's not possible without any gadgets. Any time we remember or we find out all these services or whatever the access practice possibilities within using a gadgets, do you have anyone have been imagine how much of data we generate normally? And of course, and that is no also. Okay, so because we don't know how much of data, because we gradually we using the data, we are using a gadgets for our personalized use, we're using everything, but we don't know how much of data tremendously it is being generating each and every day, and it's all possible only because that is tremendous. In the sense, one of the Forbes statistics, it has been found that we are per day we are generating 2.1 quintillion of data. You know, that's 2.1 quintillion. Underline that quintillion. Quintillion is nothing, that it is billion times billion. Could we imagine what is this billion time billion? Is it possible for us to imagine that? No, that is also no, because we cannot imagine, because billion time billions of data is generating each and every day by these gadgets around us, whatever we are using around us. Yes, so that data, that billions and billions of amount of data, that is something what we're going to learn. That is big data, right? So that is what we are going to study today's sessions. And myself, Dr. W. Gracie Teresa, working as an associate professor in the Kanimura Institute of Technology, Chennai, and I'm going to share to you something about, give information about what is big data and why, what is the necessity we have to go for big data analytics. So let me go. So before going on to the session, okay, next, let me go with the session plans. What actually we are going to see today. So we are going to see today something about what is big data, what are the characteristics of big data, the framework that is needed to store these big volume of data, and why we go for big data, and what is big data, analytics, and what is its advantage, stages, types, applications, And finally, we are going to see an use case with help of an metrics. This is how the session plans for today's session. This is what we are going to see in the next 2 hours. Okay, next, starting on with very first slide, something about evolution of technology. So in starting with this evolution of technology, very first, we'll be using our landline phones. Okay, but now what becomes? It becomes smartphones today. So we are every people today are using our smartphones. So using smartphones, we share, we text, we dial calls, we emails, we do messages, we use to see YouTubes, we upload something, we download something, we go for online streaming, everything. So it's all possible with the help of this smartphone. So the smartphone making everything smarter, right? So from the smartphones, it has been found that one smartphone user generates 40 exabytes of data. One smartphone user generates 40 exabytes of data. So if that is, of course, there are about 5 millions of users are using smartphone. If 5 millions of users are using smartphone, when we multiply this 40 exabytes with the 5 millions, can you imagine the tremendous amount of big data, the tremendous amount of data that has been generated, and the need for the big data, why there is a big data, why there is an evolution of big data came here once of all the evolution of the smartphone introduced into our world? Yes, so that is big data. Next, let me go on with something what is called to be as the desktop. So before we were using some desktops, bulky desktops, which used to do some processing of about some MBs of processing has done by this bulky desktops. Okay, so at my earlier school age, I used to know that I was using some floppy disk to store some MBs of data, right? So now after that, what happens? We got some CD disk to store some 500 MB or 1 MB or 2 MB or 5 MB or something MBs of data, CD disk, and later became our pen drives. Okay, so after pen drives, now what happens? 2 GB, 3 GBs of data, 10 GBs of data, 16 GBs of data, 32 GBs of data can be stored in pen drive. And ultimately, next came your hard disk. So what this hard disk does in the sense that we can store some terabytes of data, data, 1 TBs of data. Yes, that is possible with a hard disk. And since this goes on further, automatically generation of data becomes higher, and what we do right now, we store data directly to the cloud. So the cloud storage takes the responsibility of storing this large volume of data. So that is the evolution here in this big data, right? Next, let me see something about the self-driving car. I mean, previously it was we have a car that drives by our own self. Okay, the owner will have his car and he'll drive his by his own. But now with what it became that we found something what is called to be a self-driving car, the autonomous vehicles. Okay, so all this is possible by means of the evolution of the technology that is Internet of Things. Once this Internet of Things exist, so this self-autonomous smart vehicles, smart AC, smart refrigerator, smart world, smart TV, everything becomes smarter. So this Internet connecting each and everything around, interactions among these devices, okay, automatically what happens, everything becomes smarter, and of course we ourselves become smarter. We talk about the smart AC. What does the smart AC does? Okay, do you imagine what the smart AC does? Actually, the smart AC, it will reach the body temperature of us. It will read the body temperature as well as it will read the body temperature from the outside environment. So when we're reading this temperature, it analyzes what should be the temperature of the room. It thinks, it decides, it analyzes, and based on that, it will fix the temperature of a particular room. That is the smarter AC does. So for the smart AC to do this operation, to do this process, to do this analysis, to think about what should be the temperature of in this room, first what it has to do in the sense, first it has to collect data. So collecting data from the Internet in the sense means it has to collect data from the body sensors, because the body sensors is the one which senses how much of the temperature of the data we have in a body. Okay, at the same time it has to collect data from various sensors that is in the surface in order to get the surface temperature of the outside environment. Okay, so here automatically Internet is going to provide some variety and normally a tremendous amount of data. So using this Internet IoT, it causes generation of large volume of data. Okay, so all these only is led to the evolution of something what is called to be as the big data. Okay, so not only this is only not only the part that creates or evolutes to this big data. That is another one important factor that causes for the evolution is something what is called as the internet, that is the social media today. So we are using various social medias, of course. We are using various things, right? So these social medias today, what happened in the sense it is generating, it is the major cause for the evolution of big data. It takes its important important factor for the evolution of big data, because here for each and every media, social medias, whatever we are using, I think I hope you can able to see. Okay, it is all 2.1 million, 3.8 million, 1 million, 4 million. These are the millions of data that is being generated per second, per minute on the internet. These are something that is generated per minute. Okay, so see, this is the tremendous and the large volume. Oh my God! So what we do? So naturally, we have to do something what is called as big data. Okay, so now let me see what is big data. So now let me go, because these are something that cause root causes or the data sources that causes for the evolution of big data. Okay, next let me go with something what is called to be as the, so what is big data? Okay, now let me have a definition of what is big data. It is a massive amount of data which can be stored using traditional tools is known as big data. Massive amount of data which cannot be. So that is what here. That is what they are saying is which cannot be. So massive, which cannot be stored, processed, analyzed using traditional tools. That is very, very important. Using traditional tools or the relational database systems, it is not possible for storing and processing and analyzing of this big data. So it is massive, stored, processed, and analyzed. Okay, so why this big data cannot be stored, processed, and analyzed using traditional tool? Why our database systems cannot do that? Is there any problem with the traditional database systems? That is your DBMS what we designed? No, it is not like that. When the DBMS is designed, it is not anticipated that it has to carry on, it has to store, or it has to do process with large volume of data. It is not done that. It is that is the problem. So here it has not been designed in such a way to where it has to store, we have to process, or we have to analyze, where we have to go on with the data visualization, where we have to go on with the data storage, or where we have to go on with data streaming, something like that. It is not designed in such a way. So for that reasons, the big data it came. So the big data, it can able to store, it can able to process, it can able to analyze large volume of data. But where it is going to store? So we all have. So the storing of data is nothing but we all store data in the form in a framework. What I have, there are various frameworks where we store this big volume of data. Is something that Hadoop, Spark, and I think so. You hope you all know this, and that is what we'll be studying in the remaining sessions, right? So these are the various sources, okay, various centers that we are going to store this large volume of data. Okay. So next, when talking about the definition that is given by IBM. So what is, according to IBM, what big data is? So big data, according to IBM, big data is the data that is characterized by 3 attributes. Here, IBM defines 3 attributes. One is volume, variety, velocity, and velocity. So these are the 3 characterized, 3 attributes that is characterized for the big data: volume, variety, and velocity. So this is as per the definition by IBM. Okay. Next, let me go with the definition by Oracle. So what the definition by Oracle, what is big data is? Big data is the data characterized by 4 key attributes. Now see, before the IBM it only defines only 3 attributes. Now Oracle defines 4 attributes. What are the 4 attributes in terms of 4 V's? We call as 4 V's. That is volume, variety, velocity, and value. So according to the Oracle, the big data is the data characterized by 4 key attributes, that is something of volume, variety, velocity, and value. But now, today, we don't have only these 4 V's. Today, we have 5 V's, which defines big data. So the 5 V's of big data. That is what we are going to see the next. What are the 5 V's of big data, right? So that determines the characteristics of big data. So what actually the big data is, what type of data, what variety of data we have, something like that. Okay. So now let's see the characteristics of big data. So the 5 V's, these are the 5 V's of big data. That is the volume. One is the volume, the same that we have volume. Okay. Another one is the variety of the big data. Another one is the value of the big data. Next is the velocity. And finally, we have new things that is something what is called to be as the veracity. Okay. So these are the 5 V's. Volume, which determines a huge amount of data. Variety, different formats of data from different sources. Value, extracting useful data or useful information. Velocity, talking something about the speed of data that is generated, whereas the inconsistencies that is there in the particular data. Okay, these are different V's. Normally, this is not going to stop. It goes on extending, so because it is here now the usage of smartphones and usage of social media, we are not going to stop. It goes on. So this V is also not going to stop. It also goes on, going to grow. Okay, absolutely, that's true, of course. Okay, so next, talking about volume. So volume, normally we say it is the tremendous amount of data that is being generated. That is what is called to be as volume. So, and knowingly, we are generating tremendous volume of data. See here, the data grows. How will the data grows? In 2020, this data will grow from 4.4 gigabytes today. So today we have a 4.4 gigabit, and totally it is totally around to 44 gigabytes or 44 trillion gigabytes. That is what this is 2020. In 2021, what I said is it is 2.1 quintillion of data. We are generating quintillions of data. Okay, so that is much more in 2021. Okay, so by 2020, it is the graph is given for 2020, but now 2021, it is 2.1 quintillions of the billions of data are generating per day. Okay, that is talking something about the volume of data that is to be generated. Next, talking on something about the variety of data. Since data has been generated from different sources, we are not collecting data from one source. Data is collecting from different sources. So there are a variety of data has been generated, right? So we have data from audio, videos. There are data like videos, like JSON files, log files, like emails. So we got data from different sources. Based on the data that we received from different sources, so here this data has been divided into 3 types. Okay, so what are the 3 types of data that is there is? One is what is called as structured data, another one is what is called as semi-structured data, and third one is the unstructured data. So these are the 3 varieties of, normally we have the 3 varieties of data. Okay, so next, let me see these 3 varieties one by one. So first is the structured data, semi-structured. So this is a diagram again, how a structured data should be properly defined, and semi-structured, a little bit improper, and totally it is improper structure, unstructured data. Okay. So next, structured data. Talking about the structured data, it is the data that is in the proper format. Data that is there in the proper form. It is in the form of a relational database, in the form of rows and columns. Okay, so that is determined like what is called to be as the structured data. It has its own rows and has a number of columns. The data is properly defined in a format way, and that is what we call to be as a structured data. The next, unstructured data. We're talking about this unstructured data in the sense. So these are the different types of how unstructured data will be like. Okay, like in the form of an audio files, in the form of a music, video files, movies. In the type of different types of applications, we have these different types of unstructured data. Okay, so this is something about the unstructured data. The next is semi-structured data. So that is the data which do not have proper format is something what is called to be as a semi-structured data. Example is like a JSON files, CSV files. So these are all some of the example of semi-structured data. So apart with it, we have data within an email or data that is there in the doc file. So these are the examples of something what is called as semi-structured. So these are the varieties of data. First we is volume. Next, second we saw something about the variety. So these are the varieties of data that is there. We are just collecting these varieties of data from different variety of sources. The third V is the velocity. So velocity is nothing but it is the rate at which data is generated is something what is called as velocity of data. So rate at which data is being generated. See, for every 60 seconds, it has been said that it tweets of about 100,000 tweets there for every 60 seconds and 695 plus 1,695,000 plus status have been updated for every seconds in Facebook, and instant messages we have of about 11 million of instant messages, as well as for Google searches 6,948 of Google searches and 168 millions of emails and 1,820 terabytes of data that is created in the data warehouse, and of course new mobile users. So there are about smartphones that are saying 217 plus of millions of users are there generating large volumes of data. So here these data are generated for every second, for every 60 seconds. Okay, for every 60 seconds, that is for every minute. So these are the volume of velocity of data. So the speed, how much data is being generated for every minute is being given here. So that talking the rate at which data is generated or the speed of the data that is generated. That is something about the velocity of the data. That is the third B. Next, let me see something about the value. Getting value from a large volume of data. It is a big challenge. It is one of the research topics to getting a value from the big volume of data is very, very important, and it is difficult and it's a challenging part. Okay, so for defining or extracting a value from a large volume of data, so for what we have to do is we have to do some processing of the data, because the data, whatever we collected, the data, whatever we have, the data that is being generated, all these data are raw data. It is unmeaningful data. It is not a meaningful data. It is unmeaningful data. The data that is being generated is not meaningless. It is meaningless. It is not meaningful data. So we have to extract the meaningful information from the data. That talks something about the value of the data. So value defines extracting meaningful information. What I need, what I have to do with this particular information. What to the analytics I have to do with this particular data. With this data, what is the decision to be taken? So because we know that big data is used in your business sectors, what business sectors do in the sense they will have large volume of data, and if business sectors want to improve its sales plan, what kind of data he needs to improve his sales plan. If you want to improve the design and innovate a new product, you want to design a product, then what kind of he need in order to design a product. Okay, so it differs. The meaningful data that we extract and we perform some operations or some analysis with the big data analytics tool or something like that, that is important. That is talking about the value. This value of data is very, very important among the 5 Ps. Okay, so extracting meaningful information from a large volume of data. So first we have to pre-process the data, to clean the data. Okay, after cleaning the data, we have to do some processing of the data, some analytics, some processing, all using various machine learning algorithms and real algorithms, any algorithms. Okay, so performing all those algorithms, we are performing some analytics. We performed, and finally we are going to extract the meaningful information, the meaningful data. That is something what is called to be as the volume. I mean, or that is called to be as value of the data. That is the meaningful information what we get. So with this value only, we are going to further big data analytics. That is what we're going to do. With this meaningful value only, it is going to predict. It is going to analyze the decision should I take for the next right choice to be done. Okay, so this is something about the value of the data. The fourth V, and the next one is the veracity. So veracity talks something about the inconsistencies in the data. So not only inconsistency, there will be some data that might be corrupted, there will be some data that will be missing. See the question marks here, there will be some missing values of data. So data will be not, because we are going to analyze the data. We are going to read the data, right? For reading the data, I should need the full entire meaningful data, right? That is very important for analysis. If any column is missing, if any data is uneven, then it is not easy or it is not easy to for the machine to analyze that particular data. We have to give proper data to the machine, then only machine will learn and it will give me an analyze and give me the proper right result, right? So for that, this veracity is very important. The inconsistencies in the data has to be found out and checked, and it has to be clean, right? So the missing values, if there is any missing values, I have to fill the missing values. If there is any corrupted data, I have to remove the corrupted data. If there is here in the first column, so here all it is 4.3, 2.1 particular entry alone, it is like 15,000. How this could be possible? If this is not equal to the other, okay, so I have to find it out. If this is an inconsistency in the data, it is not even, it is different, okay. So at the same time, see the last column in standard deviation, it is something, the second row is something, it has a different value. This is not same as per the ST value, it is something different. So we have to find it out, I have to clear it out, I have to make it to the correct value. So that is something what is called as by the veracity. It talks about the trustworthiness of the data, okay. The trustworthiness of the data and the approximity of the data in order to do proper analytics and to get proper result to us. Okay, so this is something about the 5 V's. So as I said, so 5 V's: volume, variety, velocity, value, and veracity. So this 5 V is not going to end. As big data going on increasing, this V is also will increase in future. Okay, and I'm damn sure about it. So next that we see, so we saw something about what is big data and what are the big data are different by seeing these various characteristics of big data. Now we are going to see where we are going to store and process and analyze this big data, where I'm going to store. Okay, so that will be some framework for storing and analyzing, processing this big data, right? So where we are going to store and process this big data. So for that, we are going to see the framework to store the next topic. We are going to see some framework that is needed in order to store this particular big data. So these are the different frameworks that is available for the big data to be stored. Okay, so starting from Hadoop, MongoDB, Talent-D, Cassandra, Spark, Storm, and Kafka. So these are the various frameworks that is being used right now for storing the big data. So not only for storing, processing, and analyzing. So these are the various tools, or these are the various frameworks that is being used for storing the data, for processing the big data, as well as for analyzing the big data. Okay, so let me see one by one. Before that, 2 minutes. Okay, starting out with the Hadoop. So the one of the famous big data tool everyone knows is something what is called as Hadoop. And of course, the next section you are going to learn something about her very interesting tool it is. Okay, Hadoop. So this is one of the framework where we can able to store a large volume of data in Hadoop. Okay, so this Apache Hadoop. So this has the capability to store large volume of data in a distributed and parallel fashion. The data that is stored are not stored randomly. It is distributed. Okay, so this distributed in such a way that the data are replicated and stored in multiple devices. That is very important. So distributed in the way that the data are replicated and it is stored in multiple devices. Okay, so this helps Hadoop to be more enough characterized what is called to be as fault tolerance. So it is one of the important characteristics of Hadoop, that is fault tolerance. If any one data is missing, if any one is, it can able to get the data from the other devices. That is specialty. That is something about fault tolerance, right? So here it has the capability to store the data in a distributed base. That is what we call as Hadoop distributed file systems. Okay, where the data are distributed, stored, and processed. And processing of the data. When talking about the processing, the processing is done very fastly. In Hadoop, of course, it is the one which has performed the processing in a very fast rate. And for processing the data, it uses the MapReduce technique. That is another important thing. Okay, MapReducing techniques has been used for processing the data, as well as a Big and Hive, and it's another tool that has been used for processing the particular data. So Hadoop, of course, it is one of the famous big data tool that we use today. Okay, this Hadoop, it is one of the famous big data tool that we use today. Okay, so next let me see something about this MongoDB. What is this MongoDB? I'm talking about this MongoDB. So it is a cross-platform document-oriented database. MongoDB document is a database, right? So it is a cross-platform document-oriented database. So in this is in the sense. So why it is famous in the sense because it can able to store, process, and analyze unstructured data. So that is the speciality in MongoDB. You can able to store, process, and analyze unstructured. You know what I mean by unstructured? That is not in the proper format like audios, videos, images, right? So they are the unstructured data. So it have the capability to store and process this unstructured data. So that is its speciality in MongoDB. So not only the unstructured data, the data that changes frequently. Okay, the data that changes frequently, and that type of data is also have the possibility to store in MongoDB. So that is the speciality with the MongoDB. Then let me talk something about this Talent D. What is this Talent D in the sense? It is also a open source tool. Okay, it is an open source. So Talent D is an open source tool for storing, analyzing, and processing the big data. And mainly, what it do in the sense it provides software specifications that is needed for data to be integrations or data aggregation as well as for cloud storage. It provides all the software services that is needed for all the processing for a data integration, data management, as well as for cloud storage. It do give all these things. That is something what this Talent D provides. Okay, so and it is as I said, this is one of the open source tool and used in real-time analytics. This Talent D has been used very well. Okay, so next we're talking about this Cassandra. So another important tool in big data tool is Cassandra that is very much equal to that of the Hadoop. Both Hadoop and Cassandra are more equal together because they are both of them. Because Cassandra also can have the capability to store a large volume of data can be stored in this Cassandra. Cassandra can able to store some large volume of data, large chunks of data can be stored as it of the Hadoop, and it also stores the data in a distributed and parallel processing. Okay, it also stores the data distributed and does parallel processing, as same as that of the Hadoop. Not much difference, but what is the speciality in Cassandra in the sense it performs real-time processing of data. That is the difference between Hadoop and Cassandra. Real-time processing will be more suitable for Cassandra than other. Okay, so that is the Cassandra is preferred for. And next, talking about next tool is something about the Spark. Spark is one of the processing tool. Okay, it is not storing it is one of the Spark. We can able to process the data. We cannot able to store and analyze it. It is a processing tool. It is a big data processing tool. Spark is a processing tool. Spark is a processing tool. So as I said, processing in the sense, the processing engine of this Spark is, when you talk about this, how to do this processes, it is much more faster than that of the Hadoop, because Hadoop has to care on storing, analyzing, and processing. Of course, it is fast, but Spark only concentrates only on processing of the data. That is why the process engine has been designed in such a way that the processing will be done in much more faster than that of Hadoop. How this could be possible for the Spark? How do Spark can do processing so fastly than that of the other frameworks? Why? How? Because Spark can process the data.
అన్ని రిజిస్టర్ అయినా అటెండ్ అవ్వాలి, ఇది ఒక్కటి మిగిలింది. ఇది కూడా అటెండ్ అవ్వకపోతే సర్టిఫికేట్ రాదు కదా.
I think so. Some of the participants, I don't know. Can you please unmute yourself?
Gracie ma'am. Gracie ma'am. Kindly unmute ma'am. Gracie ma'am.
Hello?
Ha ma'am. You are audible ma'am now.
Yeah. Because I never let I never unmute myself. I don't know how it became.
Yeah, I don't know. Some technical issue. Sorry for that. So you
Okay.
can proceed ma'am. You are audible right now.
Yeah, right. No, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. At which particular slide I become unmute? Can you able to know me? Can you able to know, sir? So I was dealing with framework.
The same slide, ma'am. Framework you were dealing with.
Yeah, I was talking with framework. Okay. Yeah. So this is a particular I got unmute myself. So, okay. If suppose if I any reason if admit, please say me, sir, because I never unmuted my any mistake, maybe some other would have.
Sure. We will take care of that, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah. So now, yes. So now we are seeing something about the Spark. I mean Storm. So after I think so Spark, you all know about what is Spark. Okay, the Spark is the processing tool, and it's the fastest processing tool. Why? Because all processing will be done in the main memory of the data centers. That is what I said. I hope you all know that, because I was not unmuted here. I don't know where I was unmuted. Sorry. Okay. So next is Storm. Storm, I'm talking about this. Storm is it is a free big data computational system. Storm is a free big data computational system. Actually, it runs in only runtime. That is Storm. Storm always runs in runtime environment only. Okay, and it is very easy and it is very simple and can be written in any programming language. So this Storm is one of the easiest big data tool. Okay? So because it is very easy and it can be written in any programming language. So that is a specialty with this particular Storm. And Kafka, we're talking about the last framework, that is the Kafka. So it is the distributed streaming platforms. Okay, this particular Kafka is a distributed streaming platform. It is used for distributed streaming. We go for this particular Kafka, and mainly it is as a specialty is for fault storage. This particular device is used for Kafka, is used for fault storage. We'll be using this Kafka, and at the same time, it is also used for real-time analytics. Kafka framework will be used. Okay, in big data tool for real-time analytics, this Kafka is mainly used, but recently this Kafka has been transferred to Apache's data framework. Okay, it has been transferred. So mainly this Kafka is used for real-time framework and real-time analytics, as well as some as well as some thing. This Kafka can be used. Okay, so these are something about the framework of this big data. So framework, when talking about this framework, it's nothing but where it is the big data, the large volume of data is stored, processed, and analyzed. So this is an important big data tool, of course. Okay, so where we can store the data, where we can able to process the data, and where we can able to analyze this particular data. Okay, so these are the different. So starting from Hadoop, Hadoop is very important, famous big data tool. Next to it is the Cassandra, another famous big data tool. Okay. So next, talking about MongoDB for unstructured processing of data. We go for Hadoop. We're talking about, I just recall Hadoop as a sense, as I said, it is distributed in a parallel way. The data will be processed and distributed in a parallel fashion and store large volume of data. The same method of Cassandra, but it works in real time. That is specialty with Cassandra. In Mango, only unstructured data will be processed in Mango. Spark is the processing tool. Okay, it is processing and it's a fast processing tool than that of the Hadoop. And Talenti is an open source tool. Actually, it is an open source tool. It can easily be available for real-time analytics. This Talenti, and of course, we're talking about the Storm. Storm is also, it is a very simple and easiest big data tool. Okay, that is Storm, and of course Kafka. It is used for distributed streaming. Kafka is being used, and it's also very simple, and mainly it is used for real-time analytics. Kafka. See, these are the different frameworks. So because this is an important part in big data. Okay, that is why I just went to on it. Okay, thank you. Next, let me go on with another slide. Let's look at big data in a different way. So how we are going to look at big data in a different way. So this is how we are going to see the big data, the limits of big data. So we're talking about is where the big data is actually starting from the bytes. Byte, normally byte and kilobytes is the basic systems. Okay, the Hobbes, the very first system, the Hobbes. Okay, that stores only of about byte and kilobytes of data. And then later some megabytes of data and gigabytes of data can be stored in the of your desktops. Okay, and terabyte and then petabyte, or like to contain a blanket all those things, like terabyte and petabyte. So this is something about here. They are talking out of the rice content, the rice, 1 gram rice, a cup of rice. Okay, the container that holds the rice. Okay, so that is what they're talking about here, and this is where our technology works. So terabyte and petabyte, it is nothing but the worldwide, the cloud storage. We go for the internet, where it takes the help of internet to generate a large volume of data with the help of this that is something about terabyte and petabyte. And the next is when we are going to generate some exabytes of data. Okay, and zettabytes of data, zettabyte, the last one, zettabytes of data. So that the Pacific, that fills the Pacific Ocean. The rice is filled in the Pacific Ocean. See, you know what is the largest ocean, right? Pacific Ocean. So that exabyte and zettabytes of data, that talks something about the big data. And of course, the next future, the yottabyte, the Earth full size. Okay, that is going next the future. We don't know what is going to be the next future. Okay, so this is a big data. So it talks about how the volume of data that is to be stored, processed, analyzed. Okay, so next. Big data is not only meant about the size of the data. So here we are not going to see only the size of the data. It also talks about the value within the data. As I said before, the 5 V's, the value is very important. That is something known for which the data, right? So the value within the data is very important. That is big data. So big data is not only the size of the data, but it's also about the value it has within the data. So when you talk about the value, now only we are going to go to something important, what is called as big data analytics. So why? So so previously we have an introduction about something, what is big data. Now we are going to go on in detail with what is big data analytics. Okay, then talking about the value of big data, right? So we have here, we go for big data analytics. Okay. So now let me see why we go for big data analytics. The reason why we go for this big data analytics. So do you all know the online listening music with the help of something what is called as Spotify? What do you think the Spotify does? What can anyone say me what why we go for the Spotify? Any?
The music.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, everyone will have. Yeah, very good. Everyone will have the Spotify app to listen music. You imagine what actually Spotify does. Okay, so Spotify normally it is a Swedish audio streaming company. Okay, so Spotify is this Swedish audio streaming company, and it nearly about 210 plus million of users are there for this Spotify. Spotify has 210 millions of users. We are using this particular Spotify app in their catches, right? Okay, so what is the specialty in this? If we have some 210 millions of users, think about the data that is being generated by these millions of users using this Spotify. Okay, the data. So it tremendously generates. So Spotify, it tremendously by itself it generates because it has large volume of users, right? Large network. It has big network. So it tremendously generates a large volume of data. So data is in the sense, what you think about the data here is nothing but the song, the favorite song, what we listen repeatedly. The songs what we like. The songs what we share. Our research history. Okay, our playlist. So this is something about the data. Okay, so this is These are the data that is generated in Spotify related to the songs. Okay. So what Spotify does in the sense, using these data, what it's going to do in the sense now, it goes with the help of big data analytics in order to upgrade itself. Okay. So what Spotify does in the sense, it uses big data analytics. Okay. So now Spotify uses big data analytics. So what big data analytics done in Spotify? That is why that will give you a reason why big data analytics. Okay. What's big data analytics does in Spotify? That is a will be a major question. Okay. Spotify uses big data analytics. Why? In the sense because it wants to analyze and suggest songs for the users. Okay, only one reason, only one thing. What big data analytics is going to do in the sense, it's going to analyze and it's going to suggest some songs to the users. That is what big data analytics do. But what is going to do in background, that is very important here. Okay, it's going to analyze. Okay, so for analyzing and suggesting songs, what big data analytics in so it is going to create a recommendation list. You have a recommendation list of songs for us to listen, right? For us to hear. Okay, so it is going to create a recommendation list of songs. Okay, the Spotify, with the help of this big data analysis, is going to create a recommendation list of songs by analyzing and suggesting suggestion of songs, right? So this recommendation list is not going to be the same for every user. It is going to change for every user. So each and every user has their own favorables of songs, favorable likes, favorable shares, favorable playlist. Yes or no? Everyone have their own favorables of songs, right? So based on their own favorable sets, so for each and every user, it has to analyze this big data analytics. It is the work here. It has to analyze for each and every single user, and it has to create something what is called as a recommendation model is created for each and every user. This is one of the important things. So the recommendation model is created for each and every user by their data what they are generated. It analyzes, okay, it generates recommendation models. What is this recommendation model? So big data analytics, it just, as I said, it just going to analyze and suggest songs. For that, it creates a recommendation model. By analyzing, it creates a recommendation model. What is this recommendation model? Since it is just a filtering tool. Okay, it collects all the data, it filters, it analyzes based on the user specifications, it filters and analyze the particular data, and then it create a recommendation list, recommendation model. Then it create based on the user favorables, it create a recommendation list. Once this recommendation list created, now the user going to state, because recommendation list contains all the recommended songs, all the favorable songs of the user. Okay, so the user, there is no need for the user to switch on to another songs, to move on to another songs. He continuously stay for the particular page for a longer period of time. He is no need to go for the next song. He no need to go for the search. He no need to go for the swiping out other songs. No, there's no need, because automatically the favorable songs, he continuously going to get those favorable songs, whatever he likes. And that list, that long list of favorable songs is predicted and it is given by big data analytics. And that is why Spotify uses this big data analytics. So here, variety of songs based on favorable needs of the customers, it is suggested and it is recommended and it is given for each and every customer. And that is why Spotify uses big data analytics. So that is why I said why the need for big data analytics in Spotify. Okay. The next, when talking about this Amazon, the same thing in Amazon, the online shopping. What does Amazon does? Amazon is also using big data analytics. Yes, for each and every product, whether the product is fulfilled the user around worldwide. It fulfills the user. What he needs, what he recommends is analyzed, and new product has been given for each and every user based, and it will also create a recommendation list for the users, and automatically these two companies have increased its productions, right? Yes or no? So this is all possible with big data analytics. So that is how big data analytics works here. That is the reason why we need big data analytics. Okay, so because the big data works in your business, For business sectors need big data analytics. This is the reason for analyzing, giving a good decision. For that reason only we need big data analytics for the business. Okay, this is one of the prominent tool, okay, for every business magnet today. So what is big data analytics? Now let me see what is big data analytics. So big data analytics is one process to extract meaningful insight, the meaningful value from the big data, such as from anything from hidden patterns, or it can be from unknown correlations or market trends and customer preferences. So it is going to get some meaningful insights. That is something what is called, because with this meaningful information only we are going to take the proper decision what we're going to do the next. What is the satisfy what we are going to do. Okay, we are going to take some better decisions based on this big data analytics. That is the reason what is big data analytics does. So let me see some of the advantages with this big data analytics. We have some certain advantages of this big data analytics. So big data analytics that is used for risk management. Okay, so next, big data is for risk management. Then big data analytics, it is used for product development and innovations. And this big data analytics, it is also used to improve customer experiences, as well as big data analytics helps in taking quicker and better decisions and making an organization. So these are the various advantages what this big data analytics does. Okay, let me see each advantage one by one. Risk management. First, how big data analytics helps in risk management. So big data analytics helps this risk management in various organizations, and especially in banking, it takes its predominant role, right? This big data analytics. So this Banks de Oro, it's a Philippine banking company. Okay, it is a banking company and uses this big data analytics. The reason why they uses this banking company uses this big data analytics, right? Because here it have there are various fraudulent activities and unauthorized access has been taken in the banking. So in order to identify the fraudulent, the activities that has been taken, the unauthorized access that has been taken, that is the reason big data analytics plays its role. Okay, so here there are discrepancies, identifying fraudulent activities and discrepancies in the for that reason only we are using this big data analytics. So what does it going to do? Okay, so here it has a long list. This company has a long list of suspects. From that, it cannot able to find out who is the fraudulent and what we can do next. It cannot able to do. So with the help of this big data analytics, what does it does in the sense automatically big data analytics, it analyzes this long list of suspects. It narrowed down the list. Okay, it shortened the list, and finally by shortening the list, it helps the banking company to find out who is the fraudulent, who are the unauthorized access, which particular transaction is true, which particular transaction is fraudulent, who have done this unauthorized access to this banking account, who is a fake customer here. So that can be easily analyzed by this big data analytics, and that is the reason why big data analytics has taken as a risk management in banking. So banking helps this big data analytics helps this banking very much in this way. Okay, so and of course using this video can able to easily identify the fraudulent, the crime, the suspect, whoever have done this wrong thing. Okay, so this is something about the risk management. Next, talking about product development and innovation. So here the big data analytics is not only used for risk management, it is also going to help for developing a new product and then creating new innovations on the product. Okay, so one of the so now from this we see Rolls-Royce is one of the famous car company. What they does in the sense, the company it is using here, it is going to manufacture a massive jet engine. Okay, so that is used for airlines and for armed forces across the world. So this uses this massive jet engine has been created. Okay, this is a new product. So now for the development of this new innovative product, big data analytics plays a vital role for the developing this particular new innovative product. Okay, so the company uses big data analytics to analyze whether good the engine design is, or if there has to be any more improvement. So here, when a product is developed, so each and every product has a trial and error method, right? So there is a trial and error. So that is where the big data analytics was. So it's from this trial and error method, big data analytics, what it's going to say is whether this design of this product is good. it will give you a good market. It will give, it can be, it is good, right? Or whether this product is bad, it will lead to a failure or something like that. Okay, so it is going to be easily analyzed, and it suggests based on the product that is being designed. Okay, and not only that, it also going to give some innovative improvement on the design. It not only going to analyze whether it's a good engine or whether it's a bad engine, but also it is going to give some innovative improvement on the particular engine based on the future demand. Based on future demand, it's going to give the idea, the idea of developing this new product. So that is the important quality here, okay, of the big data analytics. Okay, so what the scientists here feels is, the scientist the scientist actually, without big data, the scientists cannot able to predict what would be the data that is needed for to develop this particular this jet engine. He doesn't have clear-cut idea of what are the needed data to be here. And that is here, big data plays its role, and it picks up the right data. This is the right data. This is the right product. This is the right engine. This is the right design. So it picks up the right design in a very short period of time and helps in the development of this product. Okay, that is another important thing about big data analytics. So it not only gives idea, but also choosing the right data for the development of the new product within a short period of. So here the company saves time in developing this product. That is something important thing that we have to know. The company saves time of using this, developing this particular product. So that is how also big data analytics helps in developing the product. Okay, so not only give idea or not only decide and say whether this particular design is good or this is bad, but also it gives idea, saves time in picking up the right decision. Okay, that is also an important factor with the big data analytics in case of product development and innovation. Next, product. So big data analytics, it is used for making quicker decision. As I said, very important one, because large volume of data, we need the meaningful data in order to take a proper decision. That is very important. So that is one of the important things, right? We have to take faster and quicker and better decisions in order to take a right choice. Okay, so that helps. The big data analytics helps in such a way. Very good. Okay, so now here one of the use case here is Starbucks. Starbucks is one of the company in US. So like that of your the Domino's or KFC is like that of your Pizza Corners or the McDonald's. Like Starbucks is one of the company and in US. So it uses big data analytics. For why, the reason why it uses big data analytics is in order to promote, in order to find a new location, not to identify and suggest a new location for the new outlet to be launched by Starbucks. For that reason, big data analytics, because here it is going to take decision, right? So giving our right decision on whether this particular location is right for the Starbucks to launch a new outlet in this location. So that decision is given to big data analytics, where big data analytics, it's thoroughly take a clear decision on and give the result whether the location is prompt or it is not prompted for the new launch. So that information will be given to the organization. In such a way, the big data analytics helps the Starbucks. Okay. So what does here is, in order to select a new location, if you want to, for a normally, if suppose if you are going to launch a new sector, a new outlet in somewhere in like on shopping malls or something like that, we look out to various factors, right? So what to actually, so that is what big data analytics thinks about all these factors. It analyzes all these factors. Normally, so one of the important factors to think about is nothing but the parking facility. First, we think about the parking facility. Whether we go for any restaurants, whether we go for any shopping malls, we think, or we have a proper parking facility. We just look to it. So that is how the Starbucks also thinks. So the first factor it gives to the big data analytics to analyze. So big data analysis of parking facility, whether there is a proper parking facility for this location, because it chooses a location, whether now big data analytics is going to give decision whether this particular location is right to choose. So this is what are the factors it analyzes is, first one is the parking facility, whether the particular location has a good parking facility for the customer to get in. Okay, that is one of the important things. So without no parking, then there will be no customers. There will be a good parking facility, as well as it should be easily accessibility for all the users. Everyone can easily. It should not be any remote places. It should be easily accessible. So easily accessible, easily visibility to all users. Okay, and it also have to see the economic factors. Number one is the competitors in the states. How many competitors are there? So competitors in the vicinity area, it also has to see. So these factors, these are the factors that big data analytics analyze and thoroughly analyze, and it takes a quicker and better decisions and gives Starbucks whether the location, choice of location, right location for launching the new sector is right or wrong. That is the quicker decision. Okay, so that decision is taken by the big data analytics. Okay, so this is another important thing. Big data, the important role of big data analytics. Okay, so next something about customer experience. So talking about this customer experiences, of course, big data analytics also helps to improve the customer experiences. For example, if you take this Delta airline, okay, so this Delta airline, it uses this big data analytics in order to improve the customer experiences. Actually, it wants to improve the customer experiences, because in order to provide, if we provide good services and good experiences to the customers, then automatically it can able to there will be more customers for Delta, and they'll enjoy driving in this particular Delta airlines. In order to monitor for this, in order to improvise this customer coming to into Delta, so what Delta does is it uses this big data analytics, and actually what big data analytics does in this sense, it monitors the tweets of the customers. Okay, big data analytics here, it monitors the tweets of the customers to find out the customer experiences regarding the journey and the delays and so on. Whatever they say, whatever the customer tweets regarding this Delta airline, so here big data continuously monitors for each and every customers who get in. Okay, so if airline, if if there is any negative tweets, okay, if there is any negative tweets, and what are this negatives prompt, okay, automatically what this particular airline does in the sense, it needs the upgradation. Upgrade needs all it goes just a step behind. It needs all the upgrading the needful for upgrading the customer's ticket for the next journey. Okay, so it is found to be the airline's fault. So because if there is any negative delay, it is only because of airline's fault, right? So automatically it takes in a prompt way, and it goes another way. It upgrades the ticket. Upgrades the ticket in the sense, then here there will be some discount of tickets will be given to the particular customer who have given negative tweets, and automatically he will satisfy that particular customer and make this customer to book the ticket and make his next journey in Delta Airlines. Okay, so that is how big data analytics started to grow more customers in Delta. So that is how big data analytics helps improving the customer experiences, improving the customer satisfactions, and enjoying and getting growth in customers for Delta. So this is something about what big data analytics does in Delta Airlines. These are some of the advantages about how big data analytics helps this particular or different organizations, because we are seeing different business sectors. Because use cases, we are seeing different use cases. One, we start with the Delta, and the previous with the Starbucks, and the product development with the jet engines, Rolls-Royce, okay, and one of the banking companies. So these are various different sectors. So big data plays its dominant role, right? So these are the several advantages of using this big data analytics. Now, next we are going to see what are the stages. Actually, we say big data analytics, big data analytics, big data. What big data analytics, the stages of big data, what actually it does from one after the other, what actually big data analytics is going to do from the first to the last. Okay, so that we're going to see in the as per of stages of big data analytics. Okay, so these are the stages of big data totally of analytics. Totally, there are of about 5 stages of big data analytics. Okay. So first, talking about identifying the problem. Okay. So first in stages is we have to identify. So here, identify the problem in the sense, So first, what big data analytics do in the sense, whatever it is, any business organizations, any different enterprises, any sector. So first, it will have to identify what is the problem actually. Okay, so then only you can able to process or analyze this further. So that is the first step of big data analysis, identifying the problem. It has to identify what is the problem that happens here. So deep analysis of identifying the problem is very, very important. If the problem is not known, we cannot able to proceed further. Okay, so identifying the problem is very, very important stage of big data analytics. Okay, once we all identifies the problem, actually the problem, what is the root cause of the problem, how this problem occurred. Okay, so once we identify this particular problem, okay, once the problem is identified, we go for the next stage is designing data requirements. So designing data requirement is we have find out the problem. So this is the problem. Okay, so once the problem is identified, what we do in the sense we started to collect data. That is the second. The design data requirement is nothing but collection of data that regarding the problem is what is called to be as the second step. So that is the designing data requirement. So here we are going to collect some data that is relevant to the problem that occurred for the corresponding enterprise, because this problem varies for different enterprises. Okay, so based on that, the different enterprise on these problems, different data sets will be collected. Okay, and the large volume of data will be stored. Okay, and now in a data warehouse. Now, what big data analytics is going to. So, as I said, large volume of data will be stored in the big data analytics, right? In a data warehouse. Now, the next step is nothing what is called to be as the pre-processing of the data. The third step is the pre-processing of the data, because once the data is being collected, the data that is all collected and stored into the data warehouse is just the raw data. Raw data in the sense it is unmeaningful data. It does not have the prompt meaning for the analytics to be done based on the problem that is to be identified. So we have identified problem, right? Based on the problem only, we have to do some analysis. Okay. So for analysis part, so we have to pick up the meaningful data, the insight. We're taking out meaningful insight from the large volume of data is what is called to be as the pre-processing data. So here we are going to do some pre-processing. So what is pre-processing methods? There are various pre-processing tools that are available for pre-processing of data, right? So here we are just going to clean the data, okay? To clean the data, as well as if there is any inconsistencies, if any corruption of data, if there is any unmeaningful data, if there is any not relevant data, so or redundant data, all these data, we are just going to clean up all these data and convert the data into a meaningful data. So raw data has to be converted, has to be extracted. So here we are going to extract from a large volume of raw data. We are going to clean the process, and we are going to extract the meaningful data. The meaningful data, right? So that is something important here. The meaningful data has been extracted, and it is fine. Once meaningful data has been found, what the next step in the sense, then only we have to perform some analysis. Okay, so some machine learning algorithms, okay, like so linear regression algorithms or reinforcement algorithms, or so classification algorithms. What type of algorithms based on the problems we have? We are going to do some analytics of the data that is being extracted. Okay, so here this is another info. This is the big data analytics tool. So here the data, once we data, we do some analysis of that particular data. Okay, so either we use the Hadoop or Spark or Cassandra. We can use any analyzing tool for analyzing the data, because we have extracted meaningful data. So analyzing has been done. What is the problem? Why the cause of the problem? And what we have to do with the problem? And what is the right choice to be taken? The next. Okay. For that reason, we have to analyze the particular meaningful data. Once the data is being analyzed, then we have to go for the next stage is the visualizing stage data. Visualizing data in the sense it is where the data will be given to the visualization tool like Power BI or any like Tableau. These are some of the visualizing tool. Okay, Quick View. Okay, So we are going to visualize the data diagrammatically or statistically. So it will give you an insight about what is a problem and what has been happened and what is the next step we have to take. So from the visualizing tool, once this been visualized, then we have to take the proper decision. That is why the question mark is. Now we have to take the quicker decision and the better decision and the proper decision by the big data analytics by using this after visualizing the data. Okay, these are the 5 important steps that happens. Okay, first we have to identify. So identify the problem. Then once the problem is identified, based on the problem, we have to collect the various amount of data. After collecting various amount of data, then we have to reprocess the data because the data that is being collected is only raw data. Then we have to pre-process that particular data. After pre-processing data, in the sense cleaning the data, right? Okay, any inconsistency in the data will be cleaned. Okay, so cleaning the data, after it is been cleaned, we have to perform the analytics over the data. Okay, so various analytics tools are there in order to perform analysis, because we are here where we have to take proper decision on what we have to do for the problem that is being caused, right? And then based on some various visualizing tools, okay, we are going to find out what is to be done next. What is next? What is the because it gives you, like for example, it will give you in the statistical diagram of corona has been increased in 2021. It is increased to its peak, or it is decreased to its peak, or it is gradually increasing. We analyze, we find out the results. What we have, whether we have to go for the lockdown or whether we can release some places or something like that. So the decision has to be taken on, right? That is the important part where the big data analytics. These are the things, stages of big data. It will give you, and finally it will give you a right choice. Whether we have to go for any lockdown, or whether we can freeze down any shops, or we can give freedom, or we can ask them to open the theaters or gyms or something like that. So based on the increase and decrease of the corona affected patients. Okay, so this is taking rights. This is something about what big data analytics do actually. Okay, so next talking of, these are the various stages of big data analytics. So next, let me see about what are the different types of big data analytics. So we have normally different types of big data because we are performing some analysis, right? So there are different types of analysis of this big data analytics. Okay, let me see some of the types of this big data analytics one by one. So this big data analytics, it is 4 types. Normally, big data analytics, it has been divided into 4 types. First one is the descriptive analytics. Next is the diagnostic analytics. Next is the predictive analytics. And next one is the prescriptive analytics. So let me see one by one. So when talking about this descriptive analytics, it will ask you a question: what has happened? Okay, so descriptive analytics is mainly it is used to for analyzing. Please, I think so. Some participant muted yourself. Please unmute yourself. Thank you. This descriptive analysis will give you an idea of about what has happened. Actually, what has happened. It will ask you a question on that. And this diagnostic analytics, it will ask you a question of about why did it happen? What is the reason? What is the cause for this particular things to happen? Okay. So next is a predictive analytics. So predictive analytics, it will give you an insight on what will happen next, because it's going to predict about the future. So what is going to happen next? Okay, that is something about the predictive analytics. Okay, so what will happen next? And next is something about the prescriptive analytics, and what is the solution? Actually, what is the solution we can go for this prescriptive analytics? Okay, what finally, because the problem is finding out, there is a problem is currently running, and what the solution you have to take on. Okay, so that is the solution. That is something about the prescriptive analytics. Okay, so these are the different types of analytics: big data analytics, descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. So these are the 4 different types. Let me see one by one in detail. Okay, we're talking about this descriptive analytics. We're talking about this descriptive. So it asks, So it asks the question, what has happened? So descriptive, as I said, it always asks the question, what has happened? So once what has happened, we have to answer to the question. So descriptive analytics, it has to answer the question, what has happened. right? So what has happened now? So for that, it uses a technique like data aggregation and data mining techniques. Okay, it uses techniques like data aggregation and data mining techniques not to answer the question as what has happened actually now, what we have to do with this particular data. Okay, so normally this by the term descriptive analytics, this descriptive by the term in itself, it is going to describe the raw data, whatever the raw data what we get. Okay, so it is going to describe the raw data into a to an human understandable format. Okay, so it is going to describe the raw data into a human understandable format. So it is going to describe the problem in such a way. For example, if you take a company's profit graph, so here is if a company wants to know review its performance. Okay, if it uses this big data analytics in the sense, what is big data analytics? Because if here it has to use some past data. Okay, for analytics, for big data analytics, it has to use some past data for the company reviews performance. Okay, for company review. So past data in the sense, it has to know the revenue of the particular company for the past year. So what is the revenue of this particular company? Then it has to perform some analytics, and finally it will give you a virtualization. With the help of this virtualization tool, it will give you a graph model. Okay, the data will be delivered in a graph. So what is the revenue of this particular company, and how its growth rate of this particular company, whether this company is performance is gone to a profit or whether this company's performance gone to failure. Okay, so such kind of analysis will be done with the help of this predictive analysis using the descriptive analytics techniques. Okay, so from this we can analyze by 2000 increase. Okay, so from this the company can come to a conclusion. From this graph it comes to a conclusion. Okay, the company has led to a profit. It's not led to loss. It led to a profit. So this is how the descriptive analysis helps. Based on the past data, it analyzes and it gives you a suggestion in the form of an virtualization tool. It gives you what has happened and what the current strategy is. Okay, so that is something. So the analytics helps in as well as the analytics also helps in creating reports. It also helps in reports like companies review report, profit and sales, and on. As well as it also helps in they're developing some tabulations of social media metrics such as like Facebook likes, how many of Facebook likes are there, how many tweets are done, using this descriptive analytics. So these are the things that descriptive analytics done. So it summarizes the past data into a form that is interpretable by humans. So humans can easily understand. Okay, for the raw data will be converted into a form that can be easily understood by the humans. That is what the descriptive analytics does. Yes? Hello? Anyone call me? Hello?
Hello?
Yes? Yes, sir.
No, ma'am. Some disturbance, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So this is something about this descriptive analysis. Okay. The next, we also have a case study in descriptive analysis. That is a Dow company, DOW. That's a Dow chemical company in US. What they did in the sense, they used this descriptive analysis to find out, okay, what are the under utilization surface spaces are there. Under utilization spaces are there. It is a chemical company, right? So it analyze based on this descriptive analysis. It find out what are the underutilization space are available in office as well as in lab. Okay, now this descriptive analysis, it has to give the space consolidation. So what are the spaces are not used? Okay, so not used in the sense because there will be some lot of, as well as there will be no waste spaces available, waste of electricity, waste of anything, right? Waste of water resources, everything will be waste. So by means of that, so here this big data analytics, it gives the space consolidation. These are the non-utilized spaces available in the company as well as in the laboratory as well as in the office. So it gives a space consolidation to the Dow company. So by means of that, knowing this, the Dow company gradually it increases its amount, right? It saves its amount. By means of analysis, it says that this particular Dow company it saves for about $4 billion per year. It saves. So this gradually increases for each and every year using this big data analytics. So big data analytics not only it going to consolidate space consolidation here, but also it saves money. Okay, so that is also important factor that we have to think about. So using this descriptive analysis, so here amount is saved as well as we get some insight from this. Okay, that is something about descriptive. It describes and give you a knowledge about what happened now. Okay, next, diagnostic analytics. Diagnose, we have to diagnostic in the sense we have to, why did it happen? We have to diagnose, we have to take deep root through into it and penetrate into and find it out what has actually happened. That is diagnostic analytics. Okay, why did it happen? For that we have to go for the deep analysis on to the root cause of the problem. That is more very important. Okay, so we have here we have to going to find out the root cause of that particular problem. So whether root cause of the problem, so from the root cause of the problem, we can able to easily identify what is the problem, why this particular problem has happened, why this particular problem. So if we know the root cause, it is easy for us to know, right? So what is this problem, why this has happened, and what we're going to do the next, right? So that is how it can be easily analyzed by this diagnostic analytics. And for this, it uses the drill down and data mining, data discovery techniques in order to have a deep penetrate on looking onto the root cause of the problem. So these are the techniques it uses for not to find the deep down of the problem. So if a company uses this diagnostic analysis, it can able to identify why this particular problem occurs if it knows the root cause of the problem. If the root cause knows for the company, then if that particular problem cannot be arise in the next future, because it can able to easily identify, knows what is the problem. So that will not happen in the future. And at the same time, it can also come to a solution. What if suppose if a problem occurs? Okay, so it benefits more for each and every company. So this diagnostic analysis helps company to know what is the root cause of the problem, how to come out of this problem. Okay, so for this we have a special tool like iNetSoft API is one of the query tool. It is a query tool in the sense it is a diagnostic tool which helps to diagnose and find solution for any problems that happens for using big data analytics. Okay, it is one of the important tool that is used for this diagnostic iNetSoft API. Okay. And one of the use cases here we study something about regarding this diagnostic analysis is it is in e-shopping. In e-shopping, in the sense, for example, if you go for like Amazon and Flipkart, what we do in the sense we add more items in the cart. Okay, add items to cart. Okay, we add more items in the cart, but we will not buy those items. Normally, we does. It is absolutely we most probably we does this. Okay, we add more items to the cart and we not buy anything. So now the company comes thinks about why there are a lot of items in cart, why they are not purchasing these items in the cart. Okay, so it has become a big question to them. So actually, here that is something about the big problem. So yeah, there is a question query has been asked. Okay, so why do we have fewer sales although we have good marketing? So this is the question that is being asked by all online shopping. Okay, so we have good marketing, but we have only few sales because all items are in only cart only. We are not buying all those items in cart. Okay, so for this they suggest the diagnostic analysis. Actually, what is the reason? So now when picking on with this analysis, it comes to it analyzes with various factors like maybe the form what we generate. It may be the form is not been properly generated, or maybe the item for the particular item what we choose to put into the cart, maybe the shipping fee will be very high, or there will be no proper payment options will be set down, or the cost will be too high. Many other reasons, various factors, or many other reasons that causes for this particular items not to be. So here it is going to identify all the root causes of this particular problem, and finally it is going to find out the solution for this. So what will be the solution? How to solve these problems? So big data analytics here using diagnostic analytics, it's going to identify the problem. What are the problem? Why all the items only in cart? Why it is not coming forward for the sales? So it identifies and the root cause of this problem, and finally it comes out with the solution for this particular problem. So this is how diagnostic analytics help. Okay, so why this particular happens. Next, talking about predictive analysis. Okay, next we are going to study something about predictive analysis. What will happen next. So we just predicting. We are just going to predict about the future. What is going to happen next? Okay. So here in predictive analysis, what here we do is this particular analysis is analysis the current and the historical factors. Because when we're analyzing the current and historical factors only, it can be able to predict what can be happen next. Okay, so it will have to look into the historical and the present data to make prediction of the future. What can be happen next? So for that, it uses the data mining, machine language, and artificial intelligence in order to help in order to give an insight on what the predict. It helps in predicting about what will happen next. What is the solution for the next? Okay, so that is what the predictive analysis helps here. Okay, so it works on predicting the customer trends, market trends, and so on. And this analysis works basically on probability-wise. Only this particular analysis it works on. Okay, so here actually the one of the use cases when you talk about this predictive analysis is there is a payball company. So this payball company, it is the largest payment processing company. Okay, worldwide, it is the largest payment processing company. So this particular company, actually what happened in the sense, it wants to show, using this predictive analysis, it wants to show down that the fraudulent activities and the unauthorized access have come to nil to its customers. Okay, it wants to show down that fraudulent activities and unauthorized access have come to nil to its customers. For that sake, it uses this predictive analysis as a tool for this payball company, because it's one of the biggest company, right? So here this company has a bad, because there is some fraudulent activities have happened in this particular company, and there is the brand name also has been gone away because of it. So it wants to improve it. So for that reason, what happens in the sense, it uses this predictive analysis. So that by means of that, what happened in the sense, here this company can take any precaution measures can be taken so that it can help the customers not to fall or not to trap onto the fraudulent transactions. So for that, the predictive analysis plays its vital role here. So predictive analysis easily identify what are the fraudulent activities, because we can able to easily identify and say whether this particular transaction, whether this transaction is a good transaction, whether this transaction is a fraudulent transaction. So it can able to easily analyze. So by means of this, it gives a good measures to that particular PayPal company so that it can come to a good precaution measures and give to this particular customers so that the customers will not trap onto any fraudulent transactions. So that is the main reason why this PayPal company using this predictive analysis. Okay, so this is one way. This is another use, because we can able to analyze, we can able to guess what happens next, right? By predictive, we can able to identify what is going to happen next. So if you are more precaution enough of not falling into, in the sense, automatically this PayPal like company, it gains more and it avoid from fraudulent transactions. If suppose if there is any fraudulent transactions, automatically this analytics will identify who is the particular suspect who is doing this. Okay, so this is something about predictive analytics. And next analytics is something about prescriptive analytics. So what is this prescriptive analytics that does here is, so here it asks the question, what is the solution to this particular problem? Because the problem is currently running. So we have to find out the solution for this particular problem. So how I have to identify, this particular problem and what I have to do with this particular problem here. So in order to for that, so this predictive analytics, what is this? It works with both descriptive and predictive analytics. Okay. Here, this prescriptive analytics works with sir, can you please unmute the participant? Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So the prescriptive analytics, it works with both descriptive and predictive. Descriptive in the sense, it will ask question what has happened, and predictive will ask question what will happen next. Okay. So it uses this post analytics techniques, and this prescriptive analytics, it works on with this and find the solution using the artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithm. Most of the times this uses artificial intelligence machine learning algorithm. It tries to find out the solution for this particular problem. Okay, so we're talking about this prescriptive analytics. This prescriptive analytics actually it works on airline for ticket booking in airlines in order to improve, not to gain some profit in ticket booking. So this for a particular airline, this particular prescriptive analytics works in that particular airline work. Okay, so normally when you book ticket, it varies. Okay, when booking of ticket is already it changes based on its availability and based on demand. This price of booking the ticket will vary, right? So maybe this can be it may be of internal factor as well as it have some external factors. So what prescriptive analytics do in the sense it has to find out all the factors. What are the factors that causes changes in this pricing for booking the ticket? So first, mainly part of any taxes or seat selections, it has to look onto various factors like weather. Based on the weather, also the ticket may be changes. Okay, based on the destination, also the ticket changes, and the air traffic. And suppose if it is a holiday like any vacation, school vacations or Xmas holidays, automatically the ticket will be raises. Okay, so it's based on these various factors, it has to think about. So this predictive analytics, it has to analyze these various factors and take a proper decision and adjust the ticket based on the needs. And at the same time, it has to increase the profit of the particular airline. These are the two things it has to do. So prescriptive analytics here, it has based on various factors. They're taking all these factors, whatever I said, it has to adjust the ticket spares and satisfy the customer, and at the same time it have to improve the profit for the airline. Okay. This is how prescriptive analytics have to done for the ticket booking systems. Okay. So next we're talking about application. So now we go to finally we go to the applications of big data analytics. What are the different applications with big data analytics there? So starting from healthcare, education. So healthcare, we know that it plays a predominant role in healthcare for predicting the patient's record and what the patient's health issues in future it will be. So it have the capability to predict about the patient's healthcare in future. Okay. In that way also this big data analytics helps in such a way, maintaining the record as well as predicting the patient's health. This health big data analytics plays a vital role. And media and entertainment, in the sense, talk something about Spotify, using Netflix, all those things, the online video, video streaming, audio streamings. So we know the role of big data analytics playing its vital role. And next, the banking risk management. One of the things, finding out the fraudulent activities. Okay, that is for banking. Okay, and at the same time, based on the customer account details and the customer's salary, so if a customer's prefer for whether the customer's preference for any loans or whether the customer's preference for any credit card likes. So whether so here this analytics, big data analytics also helps in picking up the right customer for the bank offers it provides. Okay, in that way also it helps banking. And telecommunications, it plays a predominant role in for analyzing if there is any network traffic, any network error happens in telecommunications, and also provides some insight towards how to improve the profit in telecommunication. In that way, this big data analytics helps. I'm talking about this education, students monitoring, students maintenance. Individually, it will maintain or group as a maintenance, as well as based on the maintenance understanding of the students, it will give the respective educators how well we have to train them, what are the methodologies we have in which particular area this particular student is strong enough, and which particular area this particular student is weak enough. In that way, also big data analytics helps in case of education. And in case of marketing in the sense that today in the business plays a vital role, right? So in marketing, we can't say so. Business based, it has to take a proper decision in a right way, in the right time. So in that way, this big data analytics plays its vital role. And lastly, it's in e-commerce, like e-shopping, in order to improve its brand, in order to improve its profit. So big data analytics plays its vital role. And lastly, in government, in law and enforcement, maintaining the law and enforcement, this big data plays its plays its good role. Okay, as well as in criminal crime patterns. It also used by intelligence in order to identify the crime patterns. Okay, because there are various crimes of different patterns they follow. So using these different patterns, it easily can identify the particular crime, the crime that who have done this particular crime. Okay, so different patterns. Using the patterns, it can easily identify this particular crime. Okay, actually the Durham is an Durham police station in Africa. They have used this particular big data analytics not to easily identify the crime based on this crime patterns using this big data analytics. And finally, they have found that this particular crime has been decreased in that particular region. Okay, So this is how big data analytics helps in government. Next, last thing we have going to see is how Netflix. We all the only thing that everyone knows something about Netflix. It plays imaginary role in everyday everyone's, right. So for video streaming, we go for international movies, international serials, web serials. We go on with Netflix. How Netflix have started up and how Netflix have gone its end, have gone beyond somewhere. We don't know where it's gone, because it has been tremendously grown up. That is what I'm saying. It's tremendously, it is grown to somewhere. And all of this is only possible with the help of this big data analytics. So how Netflix came into, because actually they're talking about this Netflix use cases. So this Netflix was launched in 1997, but now Netflix, what happened in this is we have some 100 and plus millions of members are there in Netflix. Okay, from 90, because it launched 97, because with the help of this big data analytics, it is reached to an end. There are some millions and millions of users. So here, for about this in Netflix, they are storing of about 6 billion content is being stored in Netflix for dollars of about, they purchase dollars of about $6 billion. The content that is needed for the Netflix, they purchase and they store into the Netflix. Okay, that also has been analyzed by the big data analytics. Okay, so the content of this is nothing but this movies. Okay, international movies, the international dramas and serials and web series, as well as based on the country. Okay, for the Indian countries, we have Indian dramas, Indian films. Okay, to the most Indian favorable Indian films. It is also been, it is purchased, and it will be done on of the content that is being stored in Netflix. Okay, we are so having each and everyone having Netflix app. Most probably will be having a Netflix app, and this so much of content is, when you open this, we have numerous contents will be there in it. So that they are purchasing 6 billion about, they're purchasing for the content to be stored in Netflix, and it has been found that of about 125 million hours watched every day. So here see, for each and every day, 125 million hours. So it's going on. People are watching. See how many people are watching on Netflix. It's just an average. On Jan 8 this year, on Jan 18th, it has been found that 210 million users are watching. Million hours of people are watching Jan 18 this year, Jan 18th at 2021. So 210 million hours this Netflix users were using this watching this Netflix. Okay, so you see how it has been good. It's all because of this big data analytics that is looking at background. There's nothing more than that. So data. So talking about the data, how much of data it is in 700 million events. So events are nothing but the dramas, what we see, what we see the movies. We stop the movies, we pass the movies, we switch on to the next movie. That are the events. Okay, so there are about 700 plus billions events will be written and into first written into a 60 plus petabytes of data warehouse. It has been written, and formally these terabytes, normally for about 300 plus terabytes of data has been derived each and every day, and it gradually increases to 5 petabytes of data. So that is what you see, the gradual increase of data for each and every day. It has been gradually increased in talking about the data at a glance. So this is the how the processing of Netflix have done with the help of this big data analytics. So here, whatever we watch using the Netflix app, this is the Netflix app what we use. So whatever we watch, whatever we stop or we pass or we move on to the next video, or we suggest some, we use some search histories. Whatever we do, all these will be generated as an events. All these are generated as an events, and that event data will be stored into the first it will be processed by the Kafka. Okay, so this Kafka. So we all know this Kafka is a distributed streaming platform. So for big data analytics. Okay, so all these events, whatever the events that has been generated, so has been process has been pipelined. So have been pipelined to something what is called as Kafka. And what this Kafka will do in the sense, it just back up all those data. Okay, the event data, it just back up all those data. That is what it do. It backs up all those data, and then it pipelines the data to the data storage. Okay, the data that is being stored for data storage in this is just going to pass the data to the data warehouse. Okay, so data where you build a data warehouse. So this Kafka builds a data warehouse and passes the data to the data warehouse. That is data storage. Most probably they will be using the Amazon Web Series, or the S3 is the data warehouse that is being used for storing the raw data. Okay, so here it has some variety of data. So here what we have to do in the sense, some processing of data will be taken place. Okay, because it is the lower layer, some processing. So from this raw data, before it going to build a data warehouse model. So here what happens is some various processing using various analytics tools. So the various processing of data will happen. So what this actually follow in the sense, it's going to follow the ETL. Okay, ETL is extract, transform, and load. So that particular data aggregation tool, that particular tool is being often used by this data warehouse. So it extracts data, it transforms the data, meaningful data, and then load the data into the data warehouse. So that is what is done by the data warehouses. Then it goes to the reporting tool. So this is the reporting layer. Actually, RPT reports represents the reporting layer. So here, before going to the reporting layer, what the data will do in the sense, first the data will be processed in a Spark. Spark is one of the fastest processing tools. So here, the data that is being driven from the data warehouse, it will be processed. Okay, so the data that is being processed, because whatever the data what it is, because here the event, as I said, it is not going to be the genre, because based on the genre it changes. Okay, so if you want the users, number of users who have seen this particular movie, or for number of users who have stopped this movie, stopped seeing this movie, a number of users who passed and went off, a number of users who likes this kind of a serial, so a number of users who likes action movies or adventure movies or thriller movies. So these are the different events. Based on different events, this raw data will be collected and it will be processed, and then into the Spark. So Spark will process based on the different types of events that is generated, it processed, and it is stored into the reporting layer. And once again, it is again saying it is stored in the reporting layer. And once again, it will do processing and stores in the report layer. What does it mean in the sense? Here, this report, it will goes on, the cycle will goes on to number of iterations, either to 50 iterations, 100 iterations, because the events is not going to be one event. If, for example, if you're going to find the supernatural genre in the sense, for example, if someone is watching comedy movies in the sense, or comedy dramas in the sense, it will work on only for the comedy dramas. It will process and store into the reporting tool. And another genre, if suppose another genre based on the adventure movie in the sense, then the raw data will pick up, it process, and again it will that particular data will be from the data warehouse processed by the Spark, and it will be converted that into a meaningful data, and then it will be stored into the reporting tool. Okay, so this particular thing will be this iteration will goes on do for each and every event, and for each and every event. So finally this particular data, this variety of data is from this reporting layer. Finally, it is being accessed by fast storage. Okay, this Amazon Redshift, Elastic Druid, these are some of the fast storage devices where it is going to access, where we can easily access the data fastly, not for perform some analytics, what happening or something like that. So by means of some virtualization tools like W, so we can find out which particular movie has been this particular user have seen most, whether adventure like movie, or whether they have seen like comedy like movie, or whether they have seen like thriller movie. So based on that, some tabulation will be based on this Tableau tool. Some virtualization, this is a virtualization tool. Some statistical like map like the displays, and the other expert, the data scientist, what he will do in the sense, he will build a recommendation system and for that particular user. So this particular user is only watching adventure movies. So the list of adventure movies will be recommended, and it will be created, and it will be stored based on the interactive query, whether he is only watching only interactive. Since there is another interactive query once again. So this is our data analyst. What he will do in this, it asks about some interactive query. So to the particular data storage, interactive query in the sense only he's watching adventure movie, or whether he's also watching some comedy like of movies. Okay. Second interaction happens. Again, the pipelining, data pipeline, Spark processing of data will happen from the reporting layer. Once again, it goes to the fast storage, and Tableau with the help of a W. Okay, this one of the virtualization tool is used by the Netflix W. With the help of this W, it finds out okay how averagely it is watching this comedy movie or adventure movie. So from this, it started developing a recommendation list or recommendation model for the particular users. So a recommendation, once the recommendation model is clear, that is very important. So from the recommendation list, the it will be very useful for the users who got in Netflix and started using a likes of Netflix because adventure related movies there will be a lot more of adventure related movies. Thriller movies there will be a lot more of the thriller movies starting international levels to our national level movies, right? So it starts liking the customers more. So it starts to attract the customers more by doing so. So this is how Big Data Analytics helps in developing the Netflix app to a greater extent. Okay. So next there is another diagram. For example, if any of the data content is missing, if there is an inconsistencies in the data, see this is the inconsistency. The red color is the inconsistencies in the data. So for each and every time data validation will be done. Okay, if by using very standard normal distribution or normal Gaussian distribution or any type of distribution. Okay. So here, based on this data validation will be done. If the data, here they usually go on with the standard normal distribution. If the standard normal distribution gives you the result of there is an inconsistencies in the data, then finally it will stop. It will not further process for that particular content. Okay. If the user is watching some sort of romantic movies in India or romantic thriller movies in India, so if that movie list is not there in that content in the sense, then that content will be a blank content and that processing will be stopped. Now the analytics will think about why the particular content is absent and it started to buy the particular content and fill the network app with that particular content. Okay, so automatically by routine it will happen. So Netflix, with the help of this big data analytics, has grows to another level. Only we can see. So this is how big data analytics helps. Not only in Netflix, in many of the enterprises, in many of the business today, this network Netflix. This big data analytics plays a role. So like finally, as a recap, we saw something about big data characteristics, framework where we saw large volume of data like Hadoop, Cassandra, Spark, and finally what is big data, why we have the big data, because of various things we have to meet big data analytics, and what is big data with take of advantage like risk management, because it takes a good decision making, good innovative product has been designed and developed, and so these based on some of the advantage and stages like 5 different stages we saw in the data analytics and the types like descriptive, predictive, prescriptive, and diagnostic types of big data analytics, and finally some applications, and lastly we ended up with Netflix. So big data analytics, as I said, that it is not really it is a single domain. It is being penetrated into all the trust areas. If you take IoT, it collects data, store the data in cloud, and from the cloud, if with the help of machine learning, if it wants to any learning to machine to learn something about the data in order to take a proper step in order to take a proper action, then what happens in this? From the cloud, the big data takes its role. Analytics, it performs some analytics, it gives the meaningful, it finds the meaningful insight, and that meaningful insight will be given to the artificial intelligence. Now artificial intelligence will learn what to do with that particular data, whether this data is can be used for this, or whether this data can be used for this, or whether these data particular this one. So in all fields, this big data plays a predominant role, and it's one of the dominant driving force in for all enterprises today, whoever have been increasing this market today. Okay. So with this, I wind up my session. So thank you very much. So if you have any queries, you can carry on.
Dear participants, if you have any queries, please raise your hands. And I have your freedom to unmute yourself, and you can start asking the questions if you have any queries to be clarified.
No queries, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a very honor and privilege to have Dr. Gracie ma'am with us for the day. And I thank wholeheartedly ma'am for giving us such a wonderful introductions on data, big data and analytics. It was very knowledgeable, and we look forward with the other sessions also with the ma'am to gain the knowledge whatever the ma'am is having. It's a very wonderful session, ma'am. Thanks a lot for joining this FDP as a resource person. And someone has raised a hand, and Sudhir Rao, sir. Sir, please, you can proceed with your question if you have any queries. Sudhir Rao, sir.
Our attendance.
Okay. Hari Singh, sir. Any one of you?
Yes, good morning, everyone. So, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, so in one of the slides under the diagnostic analytics, one tool was named iNetSoft's BI. So is this specifically for the business diagnostic analytics, or can be applied for some other purposes like for other applications like in education or banking or some other diagnostic analytics?
Yeah, this particular tool is meant for any other enterprises. For if you suppose, because this is a diagnostic analysis, right? Okay, so this particular tool can be applicable for any other enterprises, for any applications. We can use this particular tool. It is quite free only, so we can use this particular tool.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Hari Singh, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sudhir Rao, sir. Query?
Sir, how will I give our attendance?
Download it from the meeting setup itself. We will not share any external Excel sheets or something. Whoever attends the meeting from the teams, we will be downloading the attendance sheet. That will be considered for the attendance, and 85% of attendance is mandatory as per the guidelines of Atal portals.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for taking the sessions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity. I have to thank management, the department, the organizing team. You're doing well, and of course, and I very much thank you for the Dr. Geeta ma'am for calling me and giving me such a beautiful topic today. And this is one of the program tool going on today. So, and I congrats the team that this FTP will surely end up in a good success. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And all the participants, we have shared a formal inauguration link, AICT's through a WhatsApp group. Kindly join that inauguration function and try to attend that inauguration function. And we'll be back on 11:30 for the session 2. Okay. So please kindly join.
Thank you, ma'am.